Hi and welcome to Life with Liv. This is week 5 of my ultimate self-mastery journey with Peter Sage. And this week is called Passion and Purpose. I must say that this was one of my favorite videos so far. It's an interviewer from Bulletproof. Yeah, his company is called Bulletproof, and he's interviewing Peter Sage, and he just has some amazing questions. They go through some things that I think is super relevant and just super nice. Yeah, if you want, you can go and find the video on YouTube, I think. Yes, I hope you will enjoy. Okay, so this week I will go through the points. Number 1, the magic trick. There is none. Second thing is Peter's morning routine. I will also be talking about that you're not your thoughts, you're not your body, you are the essence of you. 4, there's the thinking center and the feeling center. There's a lot about that. Then number 5 is the key to unhappiness, because it's usually that we go towards that we do what makes us unhappy and don't allow ourselves to be happy. Then there's the key to happiness, point number 6. Point number 7, the emotional bank account versus the financial bank account. Super interesting. Number 8, our all-time primal fear. We're gonna talk about that. 9, how to deal with criticism. Peter's asked this question and he shares some really cool information about how he deals with it. And number 10 is the top 3 recommendations to perform better. Yeah. So I'm not sure I'm gonna make all of these points in one video, so I might make 2 videos, because I am trying to keep the videos down to something like 30 minutes. Yeah, and I wrote, I think, 14 pages of notes. Oh no, okay, it's not that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and a half. Okay, I was right. I'm really feeling very tired and I'm a bit distracted today, but I'm gonna do my best. The weather is amazing, so I want to go outside, which I will after I have filmed this video. Yeah, I can just feel my brain is working a little slower, and that's why I'm trying to keep the pace a little up so that I don't fall into not being able to talk or think at all. Days like that, I think we all have them. All right, let's start. So the first thing was the magic trick, right? So he asks Peter, what is the magic trick to be this human being that Peter can kind of look like a superhuman or like a superhero, but he really isn't, is what he's saying. Yeah, he says, by the way, the interviewer's name is Dave Aspirin. Yeah. He says, there is none. I'm just a normal guy who knows how important discipline is. I might have had the opportunity to have a few levels of insight that you haven't yet. Like he's saying, I'm kind of you, just out of the sofa. And that highlight the attributes that has allowed him to the illusion of being a magician, but actually it's just about self-discipline when it comes to taking charge of his own inner world. And as a result of that, his outer world appears to fall into place probably a little more than mine or yours or other people's outer worlds. So what he's saying is that self-discipline in nurturing your own inner world, feeling good about yourself, doing meditation, eating healthy, learning, keep learning and developing as a person in general is like the inner world, which is something we can take charge of, and that the outer world will kind of follow. And that's the key thing, self-discipline, to work on ourselves. Like I am working with me every morning in my morning routine, or I'm working with myself when I'm going through this course, or maybe you are even working with yourself right now, listening to this and learning something. I hope so. That would be amazing. Yeah, reading books of self-development and implementing those things that we learn. I think that's actually more important. Yeah. Which I talked about in the last video, that it's not just about knowing things, but actually being able to go further and put them into action. If you're wondering why my bed is blue and funnily not covered, it's because I'm doing laundry. It really needed that. And there in the background is a Danish flag, which you might think is a little weird, and some flowers. It's because it was my birthday recently, and in Denmark, when we celebrate birthdays, we celebrate them with flags. Like other people might have balloons. It's like the Danish flag to me basically just means birthday. It doesn't mean, yeah, go Denmark or something. It just means, oh, it's someone's birthday. You give them a Danish flag, or you send them the Danish flag symbol and say happy birthday. Well, obviously in Danish, but yes. Yeah, so if you're wondering, that's why. I will go on. Okay, so the second point is Peter's morning routine, and he describes it. He gets up at 6 a.m. at least, or 5 a.m. And then first thing he does is meditate. And he says that he just breathes. He just takes some breaths and notice his own breath. He doesn't try to control his thoughts because that's impossible, according to Peter, but just notice that they are there and breathing. And then he goes through his goals and visualize the things that he wants. It's like manifestation, like visualizing the things, spending some time and energy on feeling them and seeing them and hearing them and experiencing them. Yes, and then he reads not fiction, and also not, like not literature in the way of history or stuff, but he reads self-development books or self-learning books, and like books of insight books, spiritual books, educates himself. Yeah. And then he probably also does some journaling, writing down his thoughts, feelings, intentions, maybe other things, I don't know. And then he hits the gym. Yes. And I know from a different week that he also drinks a really high quality smoothie with lots of greens and some protein and different things, trying to nourish his body. Yeah. And that his morning routine is 3 hours long. Crazy. Pretty impressive. I think if I manage just half an hour, or if I manage an hour, I think that's pretty good. I think even if I manage just 10 minutes, I'm very happy. Yeah. But basically spending time on himself, building up himself, nurturing himself. Okay. Oh yeah, about how he meditates. Breathing, focusing. He says that he's already vibrating because he's been using his rebounder before the meditation. And then he says, you are not your thoughts. And that he doesn't try to control them. Yeah, so let's go into that. Point number 3, you are not your thoughts. So he explains that there is this metaphysical, that we are metaphysical. We are not physical. We are outside of the 5 senses, like falling in love is outside of the 5 senses. He says you're not your body because you had a different body when you were 5 years old, and you had a different body. You have a different body now than you will have when you're 80. So you cannot be your body because it's ever changing. It's like that's not you, but you have a body. We all have a body that is important to nurture and take good care of course. But yeah, when you were 5, your body was different. When you're 20, it's different. 40, different. Yes. But you are still you, even though your body is changing. So from that, we can conclude that the essence of you has to be non-physical. And he says here, you are your sense of humor, your personality, your charisma, your dreams, your hopes, your values, your beliefs, your wishes. That's you. Your personality, that's you. And if we took that and put it into someone else, let's say we took you and put you into me, my body, then it would be you, just in a different body. And he says, if you identify yourself with your body, then you will fall into a trap. And if you identify yourself with your thoughts, you will also fall into a trap. Yeah. We all are biologically maturing all the time, and that's not something that we get to vote on. It just happens, at least until now. I heard something about science probably at some point being able to prolong the, what do they call, sarcomeras or something, little antennas on our cells that's responsible for aging, and then maybe at some point we will live forever. I don't know. I read something about that recently. Well, but until now it's not a choice. We are all getting older, but what is a choice is the emotional and spiritual maturity. So that's where we get to choose what we want. And then Dave, he comes with a pretty nice example of, for instance, when you're sick or when you're having a cold, he says that he is teaching himself to say, instead of saying I have a cold, then saying my body has a cold, or my body is experiencing a cold, or currently fighting a cold. I try to say that about my bank account, that it's currently experiencing low income or not a lot of money, but that's my bank account, not me. Like, maybe my bank account is a little bit poor, but I'm actually rich, super rich. Yeah. And it helps. Like, I have actually seen money come towards me, like it comes my way now. It's a little weird, and I don't know what to do with it. Or it's still not enough. Like, I need to generate a bigger amount of money to fully sustain everything that I have of expenses. But I have recently gone from earning half of what I earn now to what I earn now. Well, because I had to. I got a more expensive apartment, and my savings were up, so I had to start generating the double amount of money, and that is now happening. Yeah, still missing a tiny little bit for a few months in the end of this year, but basically it's happening. Crazy. Okay, enough about that. So basically what I think is super nice to learn about this topic, but I will also talk about that a bit later, is this thing that you are not your thoughts and you're not your body. When thinking like that, it is so much easier to be like, oh yeah, maybe I do have short arms. I have, yeah, you can't see it, but I have quite short arms, like 9 centimeters shorter than my height, and it's supposed to be somewhat the same. And it's fine. It doesn't make me less of a person when I can feel that I am not my body, or when I gain weight, or when I'm not in the shape that I want to be. I can think, well, I'm not my body. It has nothing to do with me. I'm still a completely worthy person, worthy of love and connection and good things in life. And the same with my thoughts. Like, sometimes I do that I'm like, I'm thinking something bad because someone said something to me, maybe, or something just happened. Okay, there's a small example. Like, I was getting out of a bus, Flixbus, had to get onto the ferry, and then I was one of the last people in the bus, and the bus driver was like, "Come on now, lady," and he was, well, being a bit rough. And at first I felt like bad, and I wanted to defend myself, but I didn't say anything. I just got off as fast as I could. And then it just started all on its own, that I thought, well, okay, he obviously really, really needs his break, you know? And I was in his way of getting his break that he gets on the boat. Maybe he has a cabin where he can sleep or something, I don't know. But clearly he was kind of in a bad mood because he wanted to sleep. And or have his break, and that's okay. And it really has got nothing to do with me. And so I was thinking these bad thoughts about myself, and I stopped and I was like, hey, I am not my thoughts. And then I reflected on why he could be like that. But what I really want to say, that sometimes I think bad things, like when I feel like I'm not good enough, and I can now take a breath and be like, hey, I am not my thoughts, I don't have to listen to them. That's a choice. Like, I can also just feel into that I am good enough, that I am loved, and that I have beautiful people in my life, and I'm on a journey to finding my real true passion and purpose. And lately I feel strong, like, yeah, empowered and strong, and it's amazing. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So that was point number 3. Point number 4, thinking center and feeling center. Yeah. So the thinking center is pretty useful when we take control of it instead of it taking control of us. And it's kind of the same with technology. Yeah. And then there's the feeling center. And here we're not talking about, oh, I feel sad or horny or whatever feelings and emotions we go through in our lives. But that the heart has some kind of level of intelligence. The heart, we have found out now that the heart has its own brain. Yeah, to back it up with some facts, it's like 40,000 neurons as a minimum that that the heart has, and the decisions that the heart brain makes should be the basis of the decisions that the head brain makes. It's like, or that's what Peter believes, and I believe it too. It's like when something feels good in the heart, when something feels right, I'm doing the right thing. That's where we want to get to, and that's where I want to get to. I want to take it on me, not. I don't want to be like, I'm teaching you something. I want to tell you about what I am learning. Yeah, so I will practice and get better at saying. So what I believe is that for me, when I take decisions with my heart brain and then let the head brain can like follow up on that, I feel good and I feel centered and am more in line with me and my purpose and being more authentic. Yeah. He says most of the time we go the other way around. We will make a logical decision and then try and rationalize the way we do it. Or we try and justify our emotional reactions with logic. Like, maybe I'm feeling in a certain way, and then with my head brain, I'm trying to justify how I'm feeling. Like, I feel rejected because my partner doesn't want to hold my hand on the street, for instance. And I'm trying to then rationalize it with my brain, saying, well, if we are in a relationship, he should or they should hold my hand, right? And that is a gesture of love. And if they don't do that, then maybe they don't love me. That's something I can fall into for sure. But yeah, really, or I made the decision to be angry with him because he didn't hold my hand, or they didn't hold my hand. But that's bullshit. Sorry, but yeah, it's that's not the way around we want it to be. We want to make decisions from the heart center, heart brain, which are in line with our values in life. Yeah. And he says here, we don't go deeper than that. What is beneath the emotional reaction? Frustration, cortisol, adrenaline. Like, sometimes it's good to have the feeling, at least for me too, and then see, okay, but this feeling I'm experiencing right now is created by my body. Like, I'm feeling horny because my body is sending things through my system that tells my body to be horny. And it's a feeling, and I don't have to react on it. That's my choice. Like, I can maybe not choose if the feeling is there or not, but I can choose how I react to it, which I think is beautiful. Yeah, and then he pulls up the example with being a great leader, and he's like, the only thing that shows a great leader is do the right thing. That if you're willing to be unpopular at the moment for what you believe is right, you got the genesis of true leadership. And right there, and we know what is right underneath. If you strip everything away and listen to your freaking heart, it's what I wrote down here, what he said, then we know what's right. And I really believe that's true. Even if I'm not fully able to strip everything down yet, I do feel like I'm getting closer to seeing what is right for me. Yeah. And I'm very grateful. Very grateful. And I feel that in myself, that I'm taking leadership sometimes in my classes, and I have some things I want to bring out into the world that I truly know and believe will be unpopular. People will hate me. Yeah, I really think people will hate me. But I think it is necessary, and it's something that I see is missing in the world, that I think can change the world to something better. And I'm very emotional about it. But I'm gonna show compassion to a kind of people, or a whole bunch of people, that I think the general society don't want to have compassion or show compassion with people like that. And honestly, I think all people deserve compassion, even if their actions have been bad. And only through this compassion can we learn to forgive, and also can we teach people who do bad actions to not do them anymore, to heal and not do those things anymore. And that might be a quest that I'm gonna take upon myself. I'm not sure yet, but I see that it is missing, and I truly believe that when having compassion and understanding and getting tools helping you to do better, most people will do better. And everyone deserves that. Back to Peter, there's the head brain that's maybe saying we did it, or we didn't have the courage, or we justified it because the mind was in charge, like when we do bad things or make bad decisions, or just things that might be hurtful for someone. If the thinking center is leading the show, you're on a hamster wheel to frustration most of the time. If your reactions are based on emotions, then you never have a sense of groundedness. Like if you are just reacting to all your emotions all the time, then you don't ever feel grounded. And I think I've been there most of my life. Yeah, pretty much. But if you can go deeper than that, come from a deeper part of your feeling center, your soul, the essence of you, the I of the I, the center of you, then you have a way different level of presence, and you realize there are no better tomorrows, no worse yesterdays. There is only the present moment where you can make an intelligent, informed decision that aligns your heart, your emotions, and your mind. I think these words are so brilliant. Yeah. Listen to them again. I encourage you to listen to them again. It's really not listening to this thinking center, not reacting from there, also not reacting from your emotions, but reacting from the deeper you, the soul of you, the I of the I. And that's where we can be aligned. Finding a way to be aligned with heart and emotions and brain, mind. And with that, I've gone through 4 points out of the 10, and I will stop the video and make a new one. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I love you all. Love for me, love for you, love for the world. Thank you. Bye.